everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm continuing my updated perfume note videos, and one of the notes that you have been requesting is for me to do a video on the best TIARE flower fragrances. So these are my top recommendations. If you are new here, then hello and welcome. I'm all about perfumes. I have hundreds of videos like this going through not just perfume notes, but new releases, perfumers, ranges. So do check out my other content. And if you're a regular viewer, do make sure you're subscribed and give the video a thumbs up. That really helps me. And as always, I will leave links in the description box to where you can get all the fragrances I talk about, where they're available all around the world. Cool, so TIARE Flower is actually one of my personal favorite fragrance notes. Particularly in the summer, I always wear TIARE Flower fragrances. TIARE Flower can also sometimes be called Tahitian gardenia, but it's not a gardenia flower. It's a totally different breed, and it grows in the islands of the Pacific Ocean, and I believe it's the national flower of French Polynesia and the Cook Islands, so shout out if you're watching from there. And it's a beautiful white flower with quite thin leaves, and you sometimes see garlands made out of it. I haven't been to the Pacific Islands, but I definitely want to go. If you're a regular here, you'll know that I'm trying to go to every country in the world, documenting it on my other YouTube channel, Soki Travels. Do make sure you're subscribed to that too. So I definitely will go. It's obviously very expensive to get there from London. And it's quite a sweet smelling flower, and it has a real tropical vibe to it, almost like a slight hint of a coconut smell. I find it quite fresh and very exotic. It's not the kind of floral smell that you get from anything that grows in Europe or something you'd get in an English garden. It's, for me, it just smells really exotic, and perfumes that have it in tend to be summer tropical perfumes that give you that escapism feel. You smell it and you immediately feel like you're somewhere really tropical and exotic, and if you're not from somewhere like there, it reminds you of vacations. So at the moment, my personal favourite TIARE Flower fragrance is from Erin, which is part of Estee Lauder, and it's their limited edition Mediterranean Honeysuckle Tiare. So they have, I think it's their bestseller is called Mediterranean Honeysuckle, and it's lemony, fresh citrus, and a delicate honeysuckle flower. But they've released a few limited editions, and this year it's called Mediterranean Honeysuckle Tiare. They've added this TIARE flower note, and it's really prominent. It's definitely the main note. This was a love at first sniff for me, and I'm gutted that it's limited edition because they really do disappear, these limited editions from Erin. Beautiful, sweet. It immediately captures perfectly the smell of TIARE flower. It takes you away to a tropical island, and it really does last. I actually was wearing a top the other day that I'd sprayed this on, that I had been wearing the day before briefly, and I could still smell it on it, and even my partner Stephen commented saying, "Oh, that smells nice," and it was from the day before. So even though the Erin fragrances are quite expensive, this is the 50ml and it's about £100. They are worth it. A lot of them really do last. You don't need many sprays. You can get these from Look Fantastic in the UK, where you can get 21% off using my code LFTFSOKI. So this is my top recommendation, but if you're watching this in the future, beyond 2024, it probably won't be available anymore. So my next recommendation is Bronze Goddess Eau Fraiche from Estee Lauder. This is the original Bronze Goddess. There's an Eau de Parfum version and there's limited edition versions, but the original one just says Bronze Goddess on it, and it's called Eau Fraiche. So I think it's an eau de toilette, it doesn't say. Again, this is from Estee Lauder, and the main note in here again is that TIARE flower. It has a little bit of coconut in, so it's just a little bit sweeter and initially stronger and less floral than the Erin one. But the Erin one definitely lasts way better. It's an eau de parfum, whereas this original Bronze Goddess is definitely for during the day on the beach. You'll get a few hours out of it, then you'll want to reapply it. It is of course an iconic fragrance, and sometimes they have body lotions in this as well, which I really love. And of course, the price point is much less than the Erin one, but you having to use a lot more of it. So I think that kind of cancels it out. From Guerlain, they kind of have a very similar fragrance called Terracotta. This is quite hard to find sometimes. It's not as like well known or well stocked as Bronze Goddess, but it is very similar. And again, they used to have all these body products. I had this oil in the Guerlain Terracotta, which smelled amazing. That's been discontinued, which is such a shame, but they are quite similar, but Bronze Goddess is a little bit more affordable than Guerlain's Terracotta. Another great Tiare flower perfume is from Cavalli, the Just Cavalli fragrance. This has been out for quite a few years and you don't really see it advertised very much. Cavalli in general, their perfumes aren't like really that well advertised, but Just Cavalli Eau de Parfum is all about that tiare flower with a hint of woody base. This lasts pretty well and usually you can find this at good prices. I think it is still made and sold, but I'll see where I can find it and leave the links down below for you guys. But this is another one which is pretty good value for money, and you're gonna get more lasting power out of it than Bronze Goddess. But of course, if you're in like a hot climate, humid weather, you might prefer the Bronze Goddess Eau Fraiche because you don't want anything too heavy. My favorite fragrance from Penhaligon's is their Solaris Eau de Parfum. Now this is quite a citrusy tiare flower, and it also has ylang ylang in, which is often combined with tiare flower because it's very tropical, but it adds a slightly powdery, more like floral bouquet to the like composition, and it takes away the sweetness of the tiare flower. So if you don't like the sweetness in the tiare flower, this could be a good option for you. It also has jasmine in. It's quite pretty, elegant, sophisticated. They are quite expensive, the Penhaligon's fragrances, but if you're looking for something that's very floral, I'd say this is probably the most floral out of all of these. Slightly musky floral from the jasmine and the ylang ylang though. A very affordable option is from the Britney Spears range, the Blissful Fantasy. Now this one opens with a melon note, which really reminds me of J'adore, which also opens with a melon note, and they both also have jasmine in the heart. But the difference is that Blissful Fantasy does have that tiare flower note. It's a really fresh, slightly fruity tiare flower. The melon does really come through and last with the tiare flower and the other white floral notes here. But I know that there's a bit of a stigma around celebrity perfumes, but I have to say some of the Britney Spears fragrances are really beautiful and really good for lasting, and you can usually pick them up for like 25-30 pounds. I think this is discontinued, but I'll see if anywhere still has it in stock because they do tend to hang around for a few years. This is one of my favorites from the whole fantasy range. The new release from Thierry Mugler in their Angel range, Angel Phantasm. This one is a sweet coconut and quite heavy, and it also opens with a pineapple note, so quite tropical, but it does have tiare flower in, so I wanted to mention it. It's not the main note for me. The pineapple and the coconut are the main notes, but I did want to mention it because it is quite a tropical vibe. It has a hint of tiare flower in. If you're looking for something that really lasts and is quite strong with tiare flower in, this could be a good option. Lots of the Mugler fragrances are great for lasting, and if you ever tried Angel Iced Star that came out a few years ago, limited edition, this is quite similar. From Paco Rabanne in their Olympia range, Olympia Solar is a tiare flower fragrance. I found this to be relatively light, even though it's an eau de parfum, much lighter than original Olympia, and it also has that ylang ylang note in, like the Solaris, so it's kind of like a more affordable version of the Solaris actually, but it's quite orangey as well, orange blossom, tiare flower, and ylang ylang. But especially at first, when you first spray this, you really do get the tiare flower, and don't be put off by the fact it's an eau de parfum. And a lot of the other Olympia perfumes, like the original Legend, are very strong vanilla. This one isn't vanilla-y at all. It really is like something for the summer, and again, you could sometimes get this at quite a good price. I know in Louis Vuitton they have their City of Stars perfume, which is a citrus and like powdery tiare flower. I have tried this a few times. I find it quite light. I have never purchased any of the Louis Vuitton perfumes because they're so expensive, but I wanted to include this in here. It's not great for lasting. I don't think it's worth the money, but I did want to include it. And also a shout out to Vera Wang Princess. This classic perfume has some fruity notes in, apples and oranges, but it does have tiare flower in the heart, which really brings out the sweetness of the fruit, and there's sweet vanilla in there as well. So it's a sweet, fruity floral, but tiare flower is in here, and this has been out for like 20 years, and it was one of the first tiare flower mainstream perfumes, predates most of these. So I did want to give that shout out, and of course it is very affordable too. So those are my top recommendations for tiare flower perfumes. I love the notes so much. I will definitely create a tiare flower perfume at some point in the coming years and add that to my range. So look out for that, but it won't be coming out soon. But that's it, guys. Let me know what your favorite tiare flower is. What else would you add to this list? Let me know in the comments. I do read all your comments, and all the perfumes will be linked down below where you can get them. But that's it, guys. So thanks so much for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.